What it do, people? It's your boy Dre Day every day. Back with another topic for you. And as you can tell, your boy they got that fresh haircut. Nah, man, bro, I'm growing the wizard back. I just had to tweak it because when I first started growing it out, I didn't know how to take care of it. Now I know how to take care of it, so we gonna get it proper. Anyway, but today's topic, today's mantra. I'm actually about to make that a playlist. My mantras. But be mindful of self. And I'm sure you've heard that before, but the little spin I put on it, you'll see it the way I spelled it in the video. But first of all, because it means two different things from the way I'm using it. First of all, being mindful of self, the traditional way. It's just, the word mindful just basically means be aware. Be aware of what's going on with you. Be present with yourself. And when you're mindful of yourself, you understand, well, you'll begin to understand who you are, how you are, what you react to, what situation to keep yourself out of, and potentially keep yourself out of trouble, keep yourself out of dangerous situations, keep yourself out of situations that damage your energy and, just throw you out of whack. This is important just because there's just so many things we juggle on a day-to-day basis, just living life. And all the challenges that come with that job, work, for people with children, career, so on and so forth. So you get one thing come through, throw your energy off. You could mess up. You can have this one thing that happens. You react this way. That can mess up this situation, that situation, that situation, so on and so forth. I ain't gonna get too deep into that, but but what I'm here to talk about is being mindful of self. Now, what this means, because this is the journey that I've been on, but being mindful of self outside of just being mindful is you want to take yourself. It's a different way to say love yourself. It's a different, like if you want to just an easy way to look at that, it's a different way to say love yourself. But if I was to explain pretty much how I'm approaching it, so as I've said and as you've seen on my journey that I've documented, cutting out social media for me, mm, sitting down, rethinking the direction I want to take my career in. Mm, Also, one thing that I have done that I haven't spoke a lot on is I've somewhat reached into like the memory time machine of mine, and I've brought back. I'm sorry, I'm fidgeting. I've been sneezing, allergies. You probably used to me sniffing by now. Anyway, but I've reached into my memory time machine and I've brought back a lot of things that make me truly happy. Fuck what the outside world thinks about it, you know. And it has been a gradual process over the years from starting back collecting toys. And I believe I started that back like 2014, 2013, somewhere in that 2013, 2014, 2015 window was when I started a figure collection. And it started with wrestling figures. I still got them, but I got better shit on display. But starting with that, and as I've discussed before, I was made to believe that we grow out of toys, or we're supposed to grow out of toys, or whatsoever. Um, 2017 started my retro collection, which in turn was for one to combat how games these days are taking longer to make, and in those windows we had nothing to play. It's like, hey, I could retro collect and I could play something from an older console that while I'm waiting on said thing. But also on top of that, I also rebought all of my favorite games. Not all, because I'm still looking for some, but majority of. But the ideology is to rebuy all of the games that you used to have that you sold in the name of, well, this game came out, and now if you want to get this, you got to trade this in. That's one of the cool things about becoming an adult. When people are when your parents are buying your games up against when you're buying your games, and you can keep. It's like, oh, this came out and this came out. I want both of those, and I'm not trading none of my other shit in. So my retro collection, and now it's grown past what it, my my figure collection has grown past what I initially started with collecting. My retro collection has grown past what I initially started with. Um, I got to a point to where I was only rocking Nikes and Vans, and within the last 6 months or so, maybe a year, I can't really keep track of it. But yeah, I've diversified. I've added New Balance to my closet. I've added Puma back to my closet. I used to rock Pumas back when I was in high school. Got a handful of Jordans, but I don't really do the playing shoes. I got one pair of Jordan 3s though. I don't even wear them joints because Jordan 3 is the GOAT. That's another conversation. But doing that, also in 2017, I had a writing job, and so I was working from home, and I was like, man, I'm not finna sit in this house and get fat. So I started jogging on a daily basis, to keep my weight in check. I'm used to having active jobs, so I've brought that back into my life. There are different periods where I've had a workout regimen. Now I have a 5-day workout regimen. This is all through cutting out social media. I'm currently in not school, but I have a course, Learn IT. That's for my career. When I finish that, I'm gonna go into learning a self-defense course. Then after that, I'm going to do some actual train. Like, well, I've always been into guns, but I'm gonna actually go get trained. So basically, everything that I'm speaking to is me being mindful of self, looking at what I like, pouring into myself, and so my one of my elementary school teachers, and you've probably heard this too. It was something about like not cheating, but this actually ends up being like a mantra for me too. But it's like, when you're doing homework or a test, keep your eyes on your own paper. And it's like, now with the whole hip hop reference of paper is being your money. Keep your eyes on your own paper. What you doing? Because when you're feeding into yourself and the more you feed into yourself, the more you can make yourself happy. And the more you're making yourself happy, you don't even have time to pay attention to what somebody else is doing, because that's where a lot of people's discomfort, sadness, depression comes from. It's just you got your eyes on somebody else's paper, and you're looking at a situation that your brain perceives as potentially somebody that's doing better than you. But you gotta understand, people never tell the whole stories when it comes to the situations they're in. I tell Now, I don't have this issue in terms of looking at somebody else and seeing them in what could potentially be a perceivable way of doing better than me. I don't look at life like that, because I always tell a lot of my friends, a lot of my women friends tend to have this ideology of, not a lot of them, but some of them think that, seeing people doing quote unquote better than them, and that hurts their feelings. And I'm like, you don't ever want to go off someone's social media, because it's not the whole story. I always say people will post their they'll post their apartment keys, their house keys when they finally get their new house or whatsoever. They never post that eviction. They never post that foreclosure. They post the new car keys. They never post that repossession. Niggas get online and talk about how many bitches they fucked. They'll never post the AIDS test. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, you don't ever want to look at you never want to sit up and look at a whole. You never want to look at somebody and what they're doing in that little snapshot that you're looking at, and your imagination is doing the rest. You never want to. You don't want to pay attention to that. You can see it, but bringing it all back to being mindful of self. When you're looking at yourself and you're mindful of you, your mind is full of what you're doing and you're pouring into that, and then you're making yourself happy. You don't got time to be worried about all that stuff because you're making yourself happy. That looking outside at everything else going on, that's one of the fastest ways to depression. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a fun road. I've been depressed for different reasons, but when I started becoming mindful of self, that was when everything started changing and started looking up. And I got to the point to where I can say that, yes, I am truly happy and I've been high off life. So just the whole thing is keep your eyes on your own paper. One of my teachers said, be mindful of self, be present, but also be mindful of self. Start with being mindful of yourself and be present. Understand, draw the line in between what you like, what you don't like. Then after you're being mindful of self, be mindful of self and feed into the things that you like, things that you love, so that can make you happy. And then you can achieve the things that you once believed you couldn't achieve with ease. Because another thing with people, a lot of people are unhappy and they'll see you doing things that make you happy and they'll try to guilt you. Don't let nobody guilt you out of doing what it is that you need, that you love, because they can't do it. It's got a lot of, and it might be people you respect. You got to tune that shit out. And I'm sorry, tune that shit out and just keep doing you. If that shit making you happy, and that's gonna help you manifest everything else that you want. But yeah, man, be mindful of self. And then after, when you start manifesting everything, get your paper, eyes on your own paper. It's just a continual process of paying attention to yourself, feeding into yourself, and manifesting what you desire. But like I said, it's continuous. There are plenty of distractions out in the world. Learn how to block all that, block the distractions out as best you can. Try to stay focused, and that mindfulness, and that's what being mindful of self also can help. Because when you just exploring you don't have time for the distraction, or you'll see the distraction, but you'll be like, you know what I like is more fun, and you can do that. But I'm gonna cut this off right here. But I could speak a lot more on this idea, but the gist of everything is be mindful of self and be mindful of self and eyes on your own paper. That's all I got on this idea. So till next video, peace out.